How you doing, fellas? So today we're going to be replacing, actually probably over the next couple of days, we're going to be replacing the stator on the DRZ. What you're seeing is a nice clean bike right now. Unfortunately, it wasn't like that. I actually had to be towed in for the very first time. Being towed in was not very nice. Again, I had to bring it back to the shop, and I've already went ahead and ordered up a new stator. It is not an OEM stator, but it is an aftermarket stator. I've went ahead, it's ordered. I'm just waiting for it to come in, and we're going to go through the install process of putting in the new stator. Okay, so once again, new stator going into the DRZ, and we're going to get started. So this just came in the mail today. I am so excited to get this thing open. So let's have a quick look and check it out. It's always so exciting to get new parts in. Damn. So there it is, the gasket for from Moose Racing, and let's go ahead and this has got some really nice packaging. Look at that, fellas. Brand spanking new stator. So I'm not going to quite go ahead and open that up yet. We're almost there, but we're not quite. We still got to take apart the old one. I'm going to put this back in the box. I just wanted to check it out and see what it is, and we're going to catch you in a little bit and during the install of the new stator on the DRZ. Stay tuned, guys. Some work on your DRZ, how to lay it on its side. All you need is either one of these kind of stands, or you can use one of these, okay, which is just a straight motocross bike stand. Okay, so with that, let's get started and let me set this up. Okay, fellas, so with the bike in approximately where you're looking to set it up to remove the stator, obviously, as you can tell, you can't put it on the center stand because everything's going to be coming out this way, and it's just an awkward angle for you to be working on. So we actually want to tip the bike on over to the other way, or to the other side. And what I've got is I've got just a moto stand, and I'm just going to put it in approximately where I think I'm going to need it. That's going to go over there. I'm going to move this, and I am just going to bring this bike back. Let's see if I can get you guys a better angle. All right, so I'm not sure if you guys can see this properly, but what I'm going to do is I am just going to take this bike and I am just going to start bringing it down. Notice how I have the handles locked to the one side. And there you have it. At this point, now I have full access. I have full access to the stator. I think I may have to remove my belly pan because there's, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a bolt that's in and behind. I have to remove all of these bolts. I'm going to remove this, the cover, just so that I can get at all of the bolts. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, so if you have a cover like this, guys, one of the things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to clean out the threads. They are Allen key, and it's best just to go ahead and clean them out. The removal much easier. Once you've got that cleaned out, okay, and usually it's best always if you go ahead and you give it a good cleaning, and then this way you're always working with some clean and clean parts, clean bike, and it just makes your whole job a whole lot easier. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the 5 bolts. I think there's only 5 that are holding on the skid plate. And fellas, I believe that I did say that it was an Allen key, but it's actually a Torx bit. So I've got a trusty Torx bit, and we're just going to go ahead and see if we can remove all of these. And that sometimes happens. Okay, so every now and then you're going to run into this kind of issue. The inside of this bolt is stripped. All of the other 4 came out just great. 1 stripped. So I've tried pretty much everything that I have in my arsenal to get this out. Now we're down to the grinder. So with that said, let's see if we can get this bolt out. So all I did is I put a little X before I go ahead and I chop the whole thing apart. And I'm going to see if I can get a tap hammer and just take that out. And with your skid plate successfully removed, now we can go ahead and we can finish up trying to remove that stator cover. So we're going to have to go ahead and we're probably going to have to clean all that up, make sure that that oil seal is good. Okay. Now we have access. What you want to make sure that you do, guys, is make sure that you go ahead and you grab the little washer, because the washer goes inside. Okay. This may get a little messier. Forgot the top bolt. See the difference in size? So you want to make sure that you know where these are going back in. Two long ones and 5 of the shorter bolts that are holding in your stator. There, and you just really want to go ahead and you want to make sure that there is no more bolts that are holding this on. Almost forgot the one right in here.
Alright guys, so what I have is I have both of them on the bench. This is the new one, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the old stator here. Hopefully you guys can see all this well enough. Okay, so what it is just a number 4 Allen key, and I just have it hooked up to a socket. I've went ahead and I've cracked these already. So the next step is just to go ahead and remove, obviously remove the bolts that are holding this in. Okay, so fellas, there you have it. Everything is ready to come out, and that's all there is to it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna set it off to the side exactly how I pretty much took it out, and then this way, when it comes time, I'm gonna put the new one in, and it will go in exactly. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna clean it all up, because there's gonna be some thread lock that needs to go in all of the holes in the pickups, or where the screws go. Okay, so again, that's just your stator cover. It's got a little bit of garbage in there. We'll get this all cleaned up and get it ready to go back in. Okay, be right back. And there you have it, all nice and clean, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to start getting ready to put the new stator into the housing. And I also wanted to touch on one other thing, fellas, and that is gaskets. Okay, so this here is the factory gasket, and this here is the aftermarket gasket, and I'm going to show you just a little bit of difference and why the factory one is always better than, even though this one here says Moose Racing and all that good stuff, this one here is definitely not as good of a gasket as the factory gasket. Okay, more on that right in a second. Now, I did say that I was going to tell you a little bit of a difference why the factory gasket, which I am actually going to clean up. I'm not sure if I'm going to reuse the factory, but you can reuse the factory gasket. Okay, it's actually a far superior gasket, the one that comes from the factory, and this is the reason. If you have a magnet, it's actually a steel gasket. Okay, so as long as it is clean and straight, there's a couple of things that you can do. One, you can put a little bit of paint on it, and it'll actually be great. You can reuse this gasket over and over again because, again, it is steel. Now, your aftermarket gaskets are not. It's just a paper gasket. Okay, so that is going to make a little bit of a difference, and I'm still not 100% sure right now whether I am actually going to use the paper gasket, or if I'm going to go ahead, clean this up, and actually use the original steel gasket from the DRZ. Okay, fellas, so I am not 100% happy with the way that the filament fits. Unfortunately, it is what it is. This is what I'm left with. My old stator is really no good. So from this point, what I'm going to do is, since I don't really have much more of an option, I'm going to have to run with what I have here. What I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do is, if you have a little bit of loctite, I'm going to go ahead and put some medium loctite on all of the screws, just to make sure that these things, when you're bouncing around and you're riding off-road or whatever it is that you're doing, they don't come out. Okay, that's probably one of the worst things that you can have happen. So a little bit of peace of mind, Just give yourself a little bit of thread lock in there, a little bit of blue thread lock, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten these down. Now I'm tightening these up, but I'm not putting a lot of pressure or a lot of force at all. Okay, you don't have to torque these down to like to 100 or something crazy like that. They actually they're going to be good. You got the thread lock in there, so that's really all you need. Just a little bit of thread lock, pop it in, and give them a little tighten down, and you're going to be good. There. At this point, I am going to leave this one because I still want to be able to move this wire a little bit. I want to see if I can push it back in after these set a little bit. The pickup should be good. The actual stator should be good. And then all we have is this cord. More on that right after I let this sit for a little bit. I want these ones to start to cure a little bit with the Loctite. And then we're going to go ahead and just double check the filament for this guy right here. Okay. So fellas, these are all in. They've all been Loctited. There's the one more right there. I don't know if you guys can see that one, but that guy's the only one that's left. I think that I'm going to be okay with this. I did a quick test fit just to see if it would fit, and it seems that everything is okay. Keep in mind, guys, you've got two dowels, okay, and you just want to make sure that they don't come out and fall into the bike when you're removing this cover. Other than that, everything here has been nice and clean. The inside has been cleaned, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and do this last bolt and get that Loctited in. Okay fellas, so back at the bike, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean all around the gasket area, and there you have it. Okay fellas, so back at the bike, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean all around the gasket area. Okay fellas, now it's time to do the reinstall. Okay. Now, look at where your dowels are. I've decided to go ahead and reuse the factory gasket. I just think that with this filament not being 100%, I'd rather use the steel gasket. And I'm just going to go ahead and set this in place. Watch your little metal dowels. I have one here, and there's another one at the top here. And I'm going to go ahead and place this in. This you're going to have to fish through. Okay, these are going to come up and go in and behind, and you are going to be able to get it in there. It's just going to take a little bit of finesse and a little bit of finagling. Okay, and then you can reroute it all the way up and around. Okay, again, this one here will go to your black box. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Okay, what we have now is the insides. So I'm just going to make sure that this one here on the inside is good. Don't want to over tighten it because then you'll strip it, but this is the time to make sure that it's good while it's inside there before you put the cover back on. Okay, and these gears will come out, so alright fellas, now we're in now. I still have a couple of this tab needs to go up underneath this, but I want to let it sit just for a little bit, probably let it sit overnight before I start buttoning everything else up. Okay, and again, remember I said that we have to fish wire these through, and it's going to take a little bit of finagling. Okay fellas, everything is back in, and we are ready to actually give it its first start and see if we've rectified the stator issue. So guys, I don't know if you guys can read that, but I am pushing out 14.4, 14.3 volts to the battery. So fellas, it's back. And there you have it, fellas. DRZ is complete. It has been fixed. We've taken it out for a quick run, and everything seems to be doing good. No oil leaks, nothing like that. And it's ready for the trails again. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button. You can also follow me on Instagram. It is Moto Madness 2Ds for you. Once again, that's Moto Madness for you. Thanks again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.